Good Friday, everyone. Hope you're off to a fantastic day. Now, one of the big stories this week has been the revelation that a sales individual at Namyang Dairy Products was coercing a distributor into purchasing more product. Now, this distributor recorded the conversation and leaked it on the internet. And ever since then, there has been a public backlash against Namyang. And according to a recent Yonhap article, 6 million business owners are going to boycott the dairy product. And I saw one report that the CEO of the company is dumping its stock. It's a huge story because of the bullying by the distribution salesperson and the way that they treated the store owner, and the revelation that there were fake sales numbers. People are going ballistic about this. And I find that very interesting because the way that Namyang behaved towards the salesperson is exactly the same way that the management staff at the Lotte department store behaved towards its sales manager. And that sales manager succumbed to the stress and ultimately committed suicide. But there's no public outrage over that. When that happens at a company like Samsung, there's no public outrage about that. And I really wonder why. Now, personally, I think the reason why there's not as much outcry over a company bullying an employee and then that employee ultimately committing suicide is because in Korea, suicide is looked down upon. It is looked at as a sign of weakness. And in this particular instance with the dairy product company, Namyang, it's a sign that they're trying to bully another company, that you're bullying someone who's older than you, that you're infringing on someone's personal freedom. And they're making a delineation between someone who works for a company as an internal matter and then someone who works outside the actual company. And I think it's a shame because it's the exact same behavior. It's the exact same situation. But they're looked at in two completely different things. Now, personally, I'm more appalled at the Lotte situation because that resulted in someone's death. Bullying another company is wrong, and I'm glad Namyang is getting what's coming to them, because when you artificially inflate sales numbers, you can't run a business that way. And these big conglomerates that force their department store owners, members to purchase items, it's the same thing. You're artificially inflating numbers. Like I mentioned in the previous report earlier this week, that Lotte department store employee was told by management to make up the sales deficit by purchasing the items herself. That's exactly what the Namyang distributor was telling the store owner to do. That is exactly the same thing. But because of the berating behavior of the management personnel at Lotte, the woman killed herself. And I just don't get why people are not looking at this in this manner. What do you think? Do you think that because an individual killed themselves, that they actually do have some kind of mental instability, that they do have that stigma attached with them, so you shouldn't stand up for their rights as much as anybody else? I really believe that's the reason why it's not looked at as stringently as it should be in this situation here in Korea, that there's that stigma attached to it. I know that a few years ago, one of my students' mothers committed suicide because of the pressure on her work, and the family was pretty much shunned from others here in Dongtan. There was that negative stigma to it. So I just wonder if that's the reason why that story wasn't picked up as much here in Korea, and why it doesn't get as much press as I think it should. So please share your thoughts down below. There's a link to the Yonhap release as well in the description box, as well as in the video. So have a good weekend. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this, and I will talk to you soon.